Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Nerds Order Music interview. Today we are here with Jake from Red Brick Road. What is up, my guy?
What's up? Not a lot. Been playing a lot of shows lately. We put out the record that you listened to. I'm excited to talk about that. But other than that, yeah, we've mostly just been out there with the feet to the pavement again and loading shit in the van and just hitting the road and hitting local and whatever we can right now, trying to get back into the gigging scene.
Nice. Where did your music project begin for this? Like, where did Red Brick Road start?
Well, so originally it started with my brother on drums. We're going through a change with him right now. I'm not sure he's gonna stay being like our live drummer. I don't know. We're trying to figure that out. But me and him started together when we were really young, and then like we played together like 20 years. He went to college. I was in other bands and stuff, and like after my other band, I like kind of like gave up music for a little bit. Not gave up making music, but gave up like going out and trying type thing. And I just started writing all these songs for like a untitled project, and I was gonna do it acoustic actually. And then my brother came home from college, and I was like, "Yo, like, you wanna join this band that I haven't named yet, and it's just me?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course." And then like a few months later, we met Chris, our lead guitarist and my co-front man, and yeah, and then the rest is history. So
Nice. What was it like getting a vinyl pressing? How did that feel when you first got the news about that?
it was a lot of work. It was a lot of negotiating and stuff like that, but it felt amazing because this is the only freaking album any of my bands ever have. Well, for one, it's a two-parter because this is the first band I've ever recorded a full-length album with, number one. So right there was like enough. And then once we got the word about we had to go ahead to make the vinyl, it was like, holy crap, like this is like about like as real as a record can get, right?
Yeah,
Like if the whole internet shut down and no one had technology anymore and CD players didn't work, like the vinyl will still, still be around. That's it.
that's why I always collect physical copies for that one reason. What if the internet craps out? That's why I prefer physical over anything else.
Oh yeah. Well, and the sound of vinyl just has its own thing too. So it's like that part of it is just amazing,
Oh, definitely. Especially with a diamond tip needle, amazing sound quality.
Mm-hmm.
You can never go wrong with diamond tip.
Yeah, I know a lot about those, and I know about the ones Audio Technica makes too, but I just keep getting the cheap ones because I got a cheap player right now. I have a good stereo but a cheap player, so
Yeah, I mean, hey, if it works, it works.
well, yeah, and the thing is so when you got gasoline and guitar strings to buy, it's like a
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into this album.
yeah, okay,
What
sure.
inspired the name of the album?
So Work of Heart. Originally, the name of the album was One with the Monkey, and like I kept thinking about when we got done recording the album, and like I'm very about visual about things too. Like I like bands with looks to them. I like albums that have themes and looks to them. And I just like kept thinking to myself like we need to make this like a work of art, like thinking about like the packaging and the pictures and everything. It needs to be a work of art. It needs to be a work of art. Kept saying that to myself. And then I just like at one day, I don't know, I was just thinking about like how much like passion and like everything else and like how much like I spill like my personal life and my feelings on it, and so does Chris and some of his songs. And it's just like to me I was like work of heart, like it's that, so yeah, so I kind of like drew up like a mock album cover and went to the guys and I was like, hey, I think this is what we should call the album. And excuse me, and instantly they were both like, yep, that's it, like done, we're done going through names now.
Nice. Let's go through track by track. What's was the meaning of Bobby Joe?
Oh man, okay. um Bobby Joe was the first song we wrote, musically at least. I had the lyrics together as a band. That was why it was our first single, because it was something everyone felt like they put effort forth. Some of the other songs were done, but they were either already written by me or like Chris had one at the time, Rule the World. He had already written that. So like when we all wrote Bobby Joe together, and the only thing that existed really was the lyrics. We felt good about it because it was our first song as the band. But that song came from it comes from like a standing point about like violence in America and injustice, and not just violence but senseless violence. Like I live in a pretty metro city area. I'm about like 16 miles north of Detroit, so I'm in a better area, but we're it's not like city here, but it's pretty metro area, and there's break-ins. People have broken into my car before and stuff like that, you know. And I don't know, one day I was just like thinking about like how something could escalate if like someone had broken into my house and I reacted with a temper and stuff, and then I kind of just like turned it into like this notion about like wanting like other people to like understand how violent scenarios can happen, but like how bad they can be and stuff like that. So like on the chorus, like, because I've had to answer not this same question, but people have asked me this, like I say on the chorus, you know, put your bullets away. And a lot of people think I'm anti-gun. I'm really not anti-gun. I grew up in a small town. I think hunting and all that's really good, but I'm just more like anti-violence. Like if you can kick someone's ass, do that instead of shooting them, you know?
Yeah.
So then that song also, I just kind of wanted to talk about like the ever-present racist and corrupt justice system, because this kid who I wrote the song, every character in it, I want to remain race-free. Like I don't want, like they're like Simpsons, they're like yellow people or whatever, like, because I don't want the song to like have any racial underlying to it, because I think all people can relate to it. But like the justice system thing, like Bobby Joe kills the kid and he only gets 10 years because it was heat of the moment and it wasn't premeditated. And like I just like, you know, I wanted to bring that into it too, that like the justice system's corrupt. We have a very violent country we live in. You know, just kind of like love your brother type stuff is what I wanted to say with that. There's other way to solve things other than violence.
I love that. And it's so true. Like the system here is so corrupt. Hence why I just avoid it at all costs. Like I just do my own thing without even bothering with it. I've just become disgusted with how it's run.
Right. Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, like people are like every election time people want to talk politics, and I'm like freaking like don't make me choose between freaking broccoli and Brussels sprouts because I just won't eat. You know, it's like,
See, in my house, when people say politics, these go on my head. I just don't care enough.
oh yeah, me too, me too. I mean, I'm not really like a full blown anarchist, but if I had to pick a political party, I'd probably be an anarchist because I don't like Trump and I don't like Biden. Like I don't
Same.
like either of them. So if I don't like either of them, why the hell do I have to pick one of the two?
Honestly,
You
it's
know?
just like lesser of two evils at that point because you don't like because either way, no matter who gets in there, it's screwed either way.
Right, but yeah, exactly. And I mean, I don't even play that lesser of two evils crap. I just say everyone else figure it out. I got other shit to worry about.
Honestly,
You
I'm
know?
like, you guys do your thing. I'm gonna just do mine. That's essentially how I am.
Absolutely. And it's like then when you get into the electoral college and all this other stuff, and like the way I see it too is with the Senate and the Congress, like they're the ones really running crap. The president's just the one that takes all the heat for it. So we
He's
spend all this whole year arguing with our peers and stuff about, oh, who are you voting for? Oh, I don't like you if you're not voting for this guy and stuff. Then it's like in the end, nothing too much changes because really it's like the Senate and the House and Congress and all that other crap that like
he's just the
needs to
they're
be
just the poster
evaluated.
boy, just a little
Yeah,
poster boy.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Speaking of boy, what was the message behind Perfect Boy?
So Perfect Boy is a more gritty song with less of a message behind it. Um, it for the most part, or it's actually the only song on the record that's about sex, and it's kind of just like a nice rock and roll lustful song, but it's also like saying like, you know, like you want this girl but you're not perfect and you never will be, so like accept me for who I am. So like that's about the only positive message behind it. The rest of it was kind of just, you know, the young man hormones wanting to write a angsty song about not getting laid when you want to get laid, you know. Hell, it makes for a good song too.
Fair enough. I actually really did like the way that one sounded too. I just got like groovy as hell when I heard that groovy.
Oh
Who
yeah,
still uses groovy? Wait, I do. All
I
right.
do too. Well, my favorite part's the intro, like the
I
and then
loved
the
that
drums come
intro.
in, you know. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I'm just like, oh, that intro. All right, next song. What was the meaning behind Rule the World?
Ah. So Rule the World, um, Chris wrote that one, actually. All the lyrics on that one, I believe. There's been times where me and him have, plucked some things out together. Yeah, that one is so me and him kind of are the yin and the yang of the band. Chris writes more positive songs. I write more of the darker stuff, like deal with your emotions. And that one's just like completely meant to be like an anthem of like when you feel down, you can still change things and like come out on top and like rule the world, because everyone wants to feel like on top of the world at some point. And to us, it's kind of like almost like the theme song or anthem of the band, like what we hope to do, where we hope to go. But that's not what it was written about. It was actually written about like when you feel down, like get the hell out of bed, kick yourself into shape, and go out there and rule the world, dude. Because it don't matter what you're doing. We can all be kings of the world in our own way,
Mm-hmm. I like that. I really like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of also why we sequenced it after Bobby Joe and then Perfect Boy, because those two both are a little darker, and then we kind of like brought in Rule the World to like be like, hey, if you're dealing with this, there's still,
Yeah, to bring up the mood.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Speaking of bringing up the mood, what was the message behind After Party?
Did you watch the music video?
I haven't been able to yet.
You haven't yet?
I've been editing so much stuff lately. I haven't had time.
Okay, cool. Well, that actually will make this explanation quicker because the music video is I don't want to ruin anything, but the music video is very exaggerated of the storyline that's actually in the song. So it like pushes it more to its limits and stuff and takes it a bit more out there. But the premise of After Party is about these two people who are, obviously one of the characters based on me, but like I also don't like to give my characters in a song like gender because if you're into guys and you want to think the song's about your boyfriend, then cool. Or if you're a girl and you want to think the song's about your girlfriend, then cool. So I don't want to play that like. So it's about partners, two partners that are together, and basically what they figure out is when one of them gets clean and off drugs, the one that gets clean realizes like, hey, I was never in love with you to begin with. I just was in love with doing drugs with you. But now that the drugs are gone, like I realize I don't care for you the way I thought I cared for you. We were just like codependent on each other for someone to like score. And yeah, so then it just kind of like it just deals with that and like, trying to get sober when you're with a partner who is refusing to get sober and the struggle that brings because it's like maybe at first you didn't realize like, oh, hey, I can't be with you anymore. But once you realized they weren't going to give it up for you, like you gave it up for your mom or your kid or for your own damn self, you gave it up for some reason. And now you're asking the person you're supposed to be in love with, hey, give it up for me. And they won't. Then it's like, well, we're not in love. We're just in this drug lust together,
Yeah. What was the inspiration for Get Out of My Way? I love the way that one sounded.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think Chris wrote that one too. I know a bit what it's about, and it's kind of like the same thing about rule the world, like, hey, get out of my way. You're not stopping me. I always joke with him though that he was pissed off at a concert trying to get to the bar, walking through a crowd of people. But yeah, so yeah, and that one, that's the one me and him co-wrote the chorus on that one. He had the get out of my way part, and then I came up with the or you'll be another one down part, and then yeah, so that's one of the few songs that our next album is penned a lot more together, but the first album, since we like kind of merged as two bands, it was a lot more of taking our own time to write.
Yeah. And honestly, what I've heard so far is amazing. So I really do look forward to future releases.
Yeah, I know. We definitely will. We're gonna be consistent with putting stuff out. We're hitting the studio again this month, so but nothing's gonna come out at least till fall. But we'll probably be putting another single out in like the fall. But we just like to. We learned that album took us damn near 2 years to make, and we learned the hard way all the other stuff you have to get in order to put an album out, and the release date kept getting pushed until it was like almost 2 years later. So like this time we're like, hey, if we do something in spring, we can probably put it out in fall. So we're just trying to think ahead more now.
Yeah.
Learn something.
All right. The next song I'm going to ask about is my favorite on the entire album, Flirt with Death.
Yeah.
What was that one? What inspired that? What was the message behind that?
Okay, so there's a couple different ones. Um, we'll start with like the chorus says, I like to flirt with death because it makes me feel alive, and I like to flirt with death because it makes me feel all right. I actually wrote those lyrics on my motorcycle when I was going way too fast, and it's like kind of talking about when you're so low in life, the closer you push yourself to almost dying is like almost like the only time you get a rush anymore and like feel alive per se, and you feel better then, but then that adrenaline goes away and like you're like back to like feeling like shit. And then the chorus like tell or the verses tell like a storyline that is kind of like open to interpretation by anyone, but in my eyes this is what like happens in the storyline because I like want to be a musician. I love music. Is basically the main character wants something other than what he has in life. The alcohol and cigarettes aren't numbing the pain for him anymore. He's not happy working a shitty job. He wants to follow his dreams. So basically, he kills himself metaphorically, like fakes his own death to like become like a new person and become this musician and just leave his job behind, leave everything behind, and just start a new life because in his eyes it's better than actually dying to like just like completely like change himself like a metamorphosis or something.
That's great. All right, my
Thank you.
next. So, what were we about to say?
Oh, I just said thank you.
Uh, Anytime, like hearing stuff like this is beautiful to me. My next question is, what was the message behind "Through the Window"?
Okay, so that one directly follows Flirt with Death because clearly there's a lot of themes of mental illness in Flirt with Death and a lot of struggling with depression, thoughts of self harm, or even if not self harm, just running away from life, just that need for escapism more the less, and so through the window deals with the opposite side of the spectrum that, well, if you don't change something, you don't run away from your life or figure something out. Through the window is completely about the fucked up mental health care system in this country and how these institutions, I mean, I know some people who have had good luck with them, but for the most part, they just drug you up and then they send you back out on the street. They don't really fix anything. And so, yeah, it also deals with like a lot, like for like someone who doesn't like really believe that like they belong there. Like, hey, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm okay in the head. And everyone's like, no, no, you're not, like the denial side of things. So, yeah, that song is completely, like the opening lyrics, I just like set the scene that this whole song takes place in an asylum or a institution or whatever mental health care. I think would be the most PC word for it. I don't know. I've been through it myself, so I'll fucking call it a loony bin if I want to. You know what I mean? If you've been there, you can call it whatever you want. If you're someone else, then you better, I guess, be politically correct about it. But like they put me in a room with no colors, and then I swallowed my pride along with all the colors, is because they give you all these freaking stupid ass pills and they're all different colors and shit, and it's like the only color in the damn room is the pills. And yeah, and so then the second verse just like goes on to like reinforce like the exit, now that like when you leave there, you basically, if you had a good enough job, they might have held it for you, but for the most part all you got left is what's in that freaking, they give you a brown paper bag and you got your clothes in it, and you might have some friends' phone numbers or something, but that's about all you're down to.
Mm-hmm. It's sad how the system works like that. It's just so disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I lost faith in America years ago.
Well, and like I'm not, like I said, I'm not political, but what would you call it? Like socio-political? I'm very socio-political, like about the politics between person to person, like freaking
Yeah.
gun violence and mental health care and addiction issues, like stuff like that. That's what really opens my eyes. And I'm also every like I write through characters, but every song is somewhat based on myself. So I understand this stuff like deeply and like wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly care about it too. Like it's
Of
like I
course.
want people to hear the song through the window, and the people who don't like understand what it's about, like have it like even as a song for like a young boy or a young girl who's like struggling with something, like showing their parents like this is what I go through, and like explaining to them, get the word out. It opens the conversation. Oh, why do you like this song so much? Because this is what he's saying in the song. So then now the song don't matter, but now we got two more people having a conversation about how we all together can change the world.
Yeah, I definitely get that. And that's actually kind of why I really enjoyed those songs. It's like I see the meaning in it too, because I have also gone through stuff very similar to that.
Right.
And the healthcare system is a total joke.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm over
Absolutely.
here like trying to get help. I'm like, you know what, screw you guys. Put my headphones on, I was fine in a week.
Right.
Music is like the best medicine when it comes to mental health problems.
Musical therapy. Yeah, I mean, me personally, I haven't had like any like sort of like episodes of like, uh like of depression and stuff like that since I got into this and like started like helping other people. It's like now like I really like found like an outlet. Like I still have them. I only write when I'm depressed. Like so I still clearly have them, but I just found, like you said, with your headphones, like a way to deal with it, like to where I can calm myself down, and I don't need someone else's help. I could just have my guitar and get my freaking words out of my head, and it's like then I'm like, dude, I like you got to show this to more people so people know they're not alone out there.
That's the big reason why I like rock and metal. It's such like so much
Yeah.
raw emotion. And
Yeah.
like no matter what you're going through, people always if when you hear music like that, you realize you're never alone.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why I'm a big fan of those genres particularly.
Me too. That's what I've always loved about him. Even as a kid, going to like metal shows and mosh pits and stuff, it's always been a escapism for me. Like when you're like at that show, like the rest of the freaking world like doesn't exist anymore. Like all that exists is that show and the people around you. And everyone's there for the same common cause, and everyone's got their arms around each other, and you're just like one big family for a minute.
It's a very loving environment. That's why I went to Warped Tour a bunch of times before they ended it.
Yeah,
I'm
me
so
too,
glad
man.
they're bringing that back too after COVID. Kevin
Oh
Lyman,
yeah, I know.
he's like
Yeah, it's
coming to
really awesome.
retirement. I'm so pumped. I'm like, yes, because actually behind my computer I have a big Warped Tour signage from the last tour. I wasn't able to attend it, but someone had the signage. I bought it off of them on eBay, and I'm over here like, this is beautiful because it's an official like piece from the booths from the last Warped Tour.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was disappointed too. I went to like all of them except like the last year. And I don't remember if it was because it wasn't announced or I was with another band. Or I don't remember why I didn't go, but I remember I didn't go the last year, and then I found out it was the last year, and I was like really upset with myself. But
My biggest regret was not finding out about the tour sooner because I found out about it in 2016, and
oh, okay.
I went like every year until like the last one because I couldn't make it to the last one since they only chose 3 places. But yeah,
Gotcha.
because like I said, I found out about it like a week before the festival was scheduled in 2016. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll check it out. I'll see what I see. I regretted not finding out about it as soon as I walked in. I'm like, this is fucking amazing.
Right.
So
Where'd you have to go for it? Because you live in
um
like Connecticut, right?
there's it's at the I'm trying to think here. The Xfinity Theater. It's like a big outdoor venue.
But it is in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay, I would just was curious because I don't know, you guys are kind of a smaller state, so I didn't know if you had to like go to somewhere around there or what,
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I get it because we are a small state, but it hit the states because it's a bit. Even though it's a small state, the theater area is huge. Like there's
Right,
4 different stages and a bunch of other stuff.
right, for sure.
I miss those days. And ever since I got into Warped Tour, it took me a while, but I tracked down every CD in existence.
Oh,
All
really?
all the Warped Tour CDs, I own them.
Do you
Um,
ever go when they still had the skate ramps there?
oh, I wasn't around for that. Like I didn't know until like later after the fact. I wish I was. I wish I
Yeah,
was. Because I watched all those videos. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. Because on my channel, I do Warped Tour Wednesday on my channel. I'm pretty sure you've seen that scrolling through.
I think I have, but I would have, no, I don't think I have because I think I would have watched it.
What I
I don't
do is
know. I'm gonna watch it now, I
yeah.
tell you that much.
Remember how they did those 1 minute videos from their page? I have the tour the tour photo from that year, well the logo
Okay,
from that year, a band photo from that specific tour day, and that video at the end, and I'm just giving like little snippets of what it was and what it was about.
gotcha.
I do one post for each tour day, so I'm trying to get 25 posts in, 25 views.
Okay,
I'm actually I just hit the halfway through mark on that.
nice. It's really cool.
It's a
Yeah,
dude,
Warp Tour is like a defining point in like so many people's life. It's amazing. When I heard they were bringing it back too, I was like so happy.
I have to. I'm like get a tattoo of that too. I don't have any tattoos yet, but it's like music really got me through a lot of hell. So I want my body to represent music as much as my soul does.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I have like I most of my tattoos are music related.
Nice. First one I'm probably gonna get is Currents, Place I Feel Safest, because that was the album that got me out of killing myself.
Oh,
The
gotcha. Nice.
last song on that was Shattered, and I just when I first heard that, my mind just went blank. I just
Right.
took in everything.
Mm-hmm.
That song is very emotional for me.
By who'd you say is by Currents?
Yep, Currents.
Yeah. I've heard of them, but I've never deep dived into them, you know.
There a lot of the songs have so much meaning. Like when I first heard Monster, I was going through a very hard time with some very messed up people, and that song woke me up to that.
That's
And
cool.
like I'll send some stuff over later. A lot of their
Yeah, for sure. Do
songs
it.
have a lot of deep symbolism.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to check it out more because I've heard like a few of their songs and stuff, but
Yeah,
never really done a deep dive. But like you could tell I'm into like that stuff, the songs with deep meanings and everything.
definitely.
So
I hope I can talk to them someday. That'd be a dream come true for me. And it
yeah,
might happen too, since I work with a few label owners like Dakota, you know, the one who works with Matthew, and he reached
he's with
out to
like
he
DI
reached
or something,
yeah,
isn't he?
DI Records.
Yeah.
He reached out to them for me and they responded to him. And now they want me to send my stuff over, so I'm not waiting to hear back. So fingers crossed on that one.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be really cool for you.
Uh,
That'd be awesome.
I would probably cry on fucking camera. I wouldn't be able to hold it in. I really wouldn't be able to. I've been trying to talk to them since 2017. Since
Right. Yeah.
that's when that healing began. And then
Right. Yeah.
when they saved me again last year when some really messed up crap happened, and then I just started this up.
Right. Nice. Well, you know, keep persevering and keep doing what you're doing, and you know,
Of course. It's been
there's people out there like me and you that understand it and understand it's going on. So, you know, never feel alone, man.
yeah. That's why I love music. Like music like this, I'm never alone because I know people who write stuff like this, they have been through a lot of similar shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Oh
really
yeah.
helps vent out the pain. Like my therapy is my music.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
that's the best way to put it. All right, we went way off track there.
All right. Well,
All right. Hey, it is still great though. What
yeah.
was
Oh
the
yeah. Well,
meeting? Yeah. What was the meeting
that's where you get the best tidbits is when you
honestly,
go off track.
it's so true. Like I was working with the guy from Savage Hands, we went way off track, but we got a lot of good stuff from that too. Actually, Savage Hands actually works with Currents quite a bit. Well, he has in the past, so he knows them personally.
Oh, nice.
Great
That's
dude. The
cool.
vocalist is a great guy. All right, next question is, what was the meaning behind Mistakes?
You know, I think that one means that Chris wrote that song too. Like accepting your own actions and stuff like that. There's not really any such thing as like mistakes. Like you create your own problem. You have to own up to your own actions and any problems you may create through your own actions. The reason too that one's behind Through the Window is because this wasn't a concept album, but I think we had a very popular theme going on in it. So when it got down to the sequencing, like I put a lot of thought into it, not just for like the ups and downs musically, like oh this song's like dung 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 dung, and then this song's like you know softer, so let's put that there, and yeah, so like that one goes after like Through the Window because it's like okay, you know you've been through some rough shit, and you've been through some rough stuff, but at the end of the day, whether or not you are struggling with anything, like you still have to like accept your own actions. Like me before, like I've personally been like a bastard to like some people in my life, like ex-girlfriends and stuff that really cared about me because I was going through my own struggles and battling with my own demons and stuff. And yeah, so then like you have to like even though you were going through stuff, you still have to accept your own actions too, you know, and you can't just always go around like blaming your problems for the things you do. If you got too angry with a person and stuff, it's like, well, you know, hey, you need to understand I'm struggling with these demons right now. I snap easily. So, you know, just hear me out, hear my side. I realize I fucked up and I'm owning that. And that's the best I can do. And I apologize for my actions. So that's the meaning I put to the song. Chris might have a different story, honestly, but
I still love that. I love hearing that means a lot. I love hearing stuff like that. because I know that pain. And like I said, like when I went through that depressive state before I started this project up, I was going through a lot of hell. And there
Right.
was a time where I snapped. I got control of myself. My friend who I snapped at was like, "Dude, get here!" Like he recommended some songs to me because he knows music is my therapy, and he helped me get through it. And I was just like apologizing because I felt so bad. Because like I
Right.
said, I made the problem when I went through that depressive state. So I wanted to apologize for going off on him. Still one of
Oh
the
yeah.
best guys I know to this day.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, some people stick with you, and like I said, though, you gotta watch yourself, because I know I've like hurt a lot of people in my life by going through my own things and taking it out on them and stuff. And you gotta like at one point realize, well, I do have these issues, but it's still my responsibility to clean up the mess I may have made if I snapped on a good friend or a good girl or like someone who really cared about me.
Yeah. Like the best way to see who true friends are is when you fuck up real bad, see who's still by your side. That's how I
Oh
look at it.
yeah, yeah, I can't preach that enough. That's fucking true. If you want to know who your true friends are, fuck up and see who's still there.
Exactly.
And then compare then when they like walk out the door because you fucked up once, then be like, oh well, this guy's done all this shit and I stuck by him, but then I do one little thing. Yeah, yeah. If you want to weed some people out of your life real quick, just like mess up a little bit. It'll show
Yeah.
you.
Yep. And when I went through that state, I lost a lot of people, but I'm kind of happy I did because they were
Yeah.
they caused a lot of drama in my life. And then after they were all gone, I decided to start this up as a coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Because for a long time, I saw them all as family, which sucks because my at home life isn't the best. So
Right. I understand.
they were like all I had, and losing them destroyed me mentally. And then ones who I speak with now, who I'm very close with, I always tell them everything now. Like they came through for me when this all went down, and we all talk. We talk. We actually talked right before this interview started up. They're like, "Good luck, man!" Like they're always cheering me on.
Right. Yeah, that's
They're
awesome. And that's
great
that's what you
guys.
need too. Like I had, more friends and stuff, but I'm basically to the point now where pretty much my whole friend group, I got Chris in the band with me, who's like my best friend, and then other than that, pretty much everyone who's my friend is like in this industry too, and like we all build each other up, and we all, everyone's either a musician or a merch person or a sound guy, and it's like this whole like cult family of people now that is just incredible, better than having fake friends and stuff that don't get
Exactly.
you for you. There's like this great quote at the end of a Hobson song. It's Ill Mind a Hobson 8, and it's I actually found out it's a Joel Osteen quote, which I'm not really a Joel Osteen fan, but it's like a really good quote. And it's like, it says, change is inevitable. Without change, we'll never become like who we're supposed to be. Every blessing you have isn't supposed to be permanent. Like, you have to constantly evaluate your friendships, see who's speaking into your life and who's not, who's just riding on your coattails and stuff. And it's really good. You should check it out. Even if you don't like the song, I mean, the song's okay, but it's mostly just like him kind of bitching about his shitty record contract. But the quote at the end is awesome.
I will definitely look into that. I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, no. I mean, the song's pretty good, don't get me wrong, but it's just like you can only listen to it so many times till you're like, well, it really sucks that you got screwed over by your manager, but.
Yeah. The next question is, what was the message behind "Look to the Sky"?
Which one? Which one are we at?
Look to the sky.
Oh, Look to the Sky. Yeah, that's right. That one is about me and Chris kind of co-wrote that one. I think he had most of the lyrics going. And we also turned it into a duet, which I thought was pretty cool because every song on the album, like one of us sings, other sings harmony, and like that one is just it's definitely, I don't think it's not like a really a Christian song. A lot of people think when you say look to the sky that it's like, it has to do with like Christianity or whatever. I think it's just more about like finding faith in anything, whatever can, whatever can make you feel good about life. Like, if you're feeling alone, like you got no hope, just look to the sky and everything will be all right. Just look at the clouds for an hour, man. Calm down. That's the way I like to put it. Is like just look at a flower. Take time for the simple things. Look at a flower, look to the sky. look at a nice tree, watch some ducks swim around your pool or something like that, you know? Just find faith and beauty in everything around you. And the sky is like one of the like biggest like mysteries we have. And you can, I mean, you ever cloud watch before? Is that something
Mm-hmm.
you've done? You
Yeah,
have?
I have.
Okay,
Put
so
my
then, okay,
headphones on. I just cloud watch. It's so
right.
relaxing.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly that, you know, just stare up at the sky and just, you know, you can get lost for hours. I mean, I've even done it before without music and just like everyone makes jokes about me because I have like they like think of me like a dog a lot because I stare out windows a lot because I just like observe a lot of things around me and like so like my friends and stuff and family they make fun of me for it because they'll like constantly like catch me like just like staring out a window. And I'll just be watching like grass move in the breeze or something, you know, something stupid like that. People are like, "You look like you're in deep thought," and I'm like, "No, I was actually just like wondering if that duck was gonna show up while I, you know, stare at this water move back and forth or something like that." But yeah, you definitely have to take pleasure in the simple things, the simple beauty of life, because it is we're
Exactly.
surrounded by beauty. So
Honestly, yeah. Like, and people, a lot of people don't know that too. Everyone's like, "Oh, there's nothing to do." It's like you can take everything in, take a nice look at
yeah,
stuff, look at the clouds, look at the birds,
yeah,
look at the ducks. Like, just look at something that is there and just admire it.
yeah. It's amazing, you know. Even like the sky alone, like is just like a, you know. And I think part of that song too was like saying like it's like about like the construct too of like infinity, you know, like kind of just like I'm not the only one here. We all live under the same big blue sky. There's people out there that feel the same way I do, and we all live under this same roof, you know?
Yeah,
Like, yeah, you're under your roof now in Connecticut. I'm under my roof in Michigan, but if we all went outside at the same exact time, every freaking human being on the planet, we'd all be living under the same big roof. We're just, you know, we're all one big family. And yeah, for sure, there's some family members out there that you don't get along with, but for the most part, we're all brothers and sisters, and you know, you're never the only one alone. So
exactly. All right. What was the meaning behind Slick Rick?
Slick Rick, Slick Rick was inspired by my friend Chris, not guitar player Chris, a different friend Chris I have, because he brought up a very good point after he heard Bobby Joe that he says, so in the song Bobby Joe, the thief gets away. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, like we know James died, we know Bobby Joe goes to prison, but like what happens to like the thief? So when I started writing the song, I started wanting to describe the events that would have led up to Slick Rick is the guy who broke into Bobby's house. That's why the song like starts with like a house break in again, but this time it's from his point of view, and you know he's getting chased out by Bobby and stuff. And then like I just like kind of kept thinking about like how to develop the story more and make it like more interesting, I guess, and bring another dynamic into it. And like so the only other plot point in Bobby Joe that was unresolved was like I imply that James has friends or at least has a friend about when I say he usually doesn't walk alone, I'm implying he's usually got a friend with him. And then like, you know, when then I talk about his funeral, his friends came to pay their final respects. So then the kid in the Slick Rick storyline is supposed to um, be James's best friend, who he doesn't know that this junkie, because he decides to go down a bad path because he had some home life problems he talks about in the song. And after he talks about his home life problems, he also like continues on to tell Slick without knowing he's talking to the guy who like kind of set this whole thing in motion. That like yeah, the like trigger point for me when I ran away from home and just kind of started becoming a drug user because I was running through all my emotions is that once my best friend got killed in like a, you know, like a in cold blood, you know, and like it was just violent and unnecessary, and he doesn't know he's talking to the killer, and so then Slick starts like sympathizing with him and stuff, and like realizing that he could have been the one who very well he took this kid's friend away and stuff, and that's why by the end of the song, Slick is like very more sympathetic, less crude, less trying to rob the kid and stuff. And then that's basically where the song summarizes is Slick ODs in the end because he's trying to get it off his mind, all the pain and turmoil he caused for this kid. But also in a way, he's almost like a martyr or like a sacrifice because by stealing all the kid's drugs and doing all the drugs, the kid has no drugs left to do. So I think there's probably going to be another song that's going to continue this series, but I'm not going to give anything away on that one yet. But the kid is still alive, so
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed the comparison with the story when I heard Slick Rick and Bobby Joe. Like, I wanted to ask about that, and he just answered my question. I'm like,
Okay.
I did see a very, very good comparison there. I'm like, are these two songs related? And see,
Good. Well, you got a good ear then, because not a lot of people, some people, but I'd say it's more like 40-60. A lot of people don't realize
yeah,
it at all.
yeah, I noticed the perspective change. I'm like, this has to be the thief from the first song,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm glad I was right.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you realized it. Well, dude, we dropped a huge hint at it too because like I don't know if you know anything about music theory, but like there's like keys. So like you can play in a key but not play the same thing. You can play different chords but they're still all in the same key. So when we wrote Slick, I wanted to keep it in the same key just so that it had kind of like the same sound as Bobby but was a different song. Like it wasn't the same music, but it was very similar to where people can't put their finger on it. Like why is it so similar? So I wrote it in the same key. And then at the end, we had that like outro part where Chris is playing that freaking beautiful, like it's like a bar chord pluck thing, like a doom, 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 doom.
Yeah,
And it was like fading out. And then like we were in the studio and I might have thought about it shortly before, but I knew then we had to do it. And I was like, as this fades out, like we need to fade in the intro guitar from Bobby Joe. So then it fades in the intro guitar from Bobby Joe and then it ends the song with the same three chords Bobby Joe ended with. And it's like that right there was like the hint to people. I was like, okay, if they
yeah.
didn't get it by this point, I'm just shoving it in their face.
I caught on that actually. I was like, this
Did you?
sounds like
Cool.
the first song. That's actually one. Not only that, but the lyrics in that one part at the end. That's why it made me think the question because I wanted to confirm if it was right or wrong. If I was right on it. And but yeah, no, I recognize that. I'm like, this is the intro from the first track, and
Cool.
this lyrics represents the thief. I was thinking that all that was going through my head today, and I'm just like, these have to be related. Like
Yep.
there has to be a story with these two.
Yeah, and then like there's like even like the kids like I'm trying to get better with developing different character personas with my voice, almost more theatrical. That was the first song on this album I actually did it that like during the second verse when it becomes the kid talking to Slick and not just like the narrator, like I get more grungy with my voice. I get more upset like because like now I'm playing the character. Like this is the character's part of the movie where he's speaking. So
Yeah,
that's something too I'm putting a lot more focus on the next album that I'm like really excited about is like not just like singing or hitting the right notes but like singing with like intention of like who I'm portraying, not what I already do that. I believe I put a good amount of emotion in at the right times, but like just more of like if it's coming from this person's view, what would this person sound like and stuff. And I guess just yeah.
that's great. Well, we basically just covered the album. So my next question is, who would you love to collaborate with in studio and on stage?
Oh, that's a hard one. Like actually do a song. Oh man, like actually do a song with another musician.
Yeah,
Because I love the idea of live collaboration, but I'm not like super big on studio collaboration. But is it alive or dead, or is it just
you can
alive?
choose either.
Either. Oh man. Um. Okay, I'm doing three. I think in the studio, Kurt Cobain. I think live, Youngblood. You know who Youngblood is?
Yeah, I've heard of him a lot.
Okay, he's insane. And I think for writing and doing something crazy, like making like a musical or something, Gerard Way, to My Chemical Romance. So
Excellent choice. They got back together recently too. I heard from back in November.
Oh man, don't get me started. Yeah, no, they were supposed to play like right after the pandemic. Well, I actually am like happy about the pandemic just for this reason because tickets to the show was like $3,000 and then now you can get them at like $300. So because people don't know what they're doing in
Jesus.
2022. Problem is I don't know what I'm doing in September of 2022, so I can't take advantage of the cheap tickets quite yet, but you know.
Yeah. I have the vinyl for Black Parade still. Love that album. So
Oh yeah.
fun.
My man. That's a defining point in freaking and my music freaking that was when my like whole like just aura of like how I think about things changed too, was
Yeah.
that record.
Music has the power to do many things, especially open our eyes to reality.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean that album is just so beautiful too, and
It was.
that's why I say too, like I mean, I guess like I wouldn't mind collaborating with like Gerard Way in the studio, but like with that guy, and he does comic books and TV series and like all this stuff, and like I'm pretty big into like I'm trying to get more into like the visual end of things, and I think I could like learn a lot from him and stuff, and I feel like he'd be like someone really cool for me to like work with on like some project that has music in it, but it's more than music. It's like the music is a soundtrack to like an animated comic book or something like that. It was like what I'd love to do with him because I just love to hang out with him for a day and like pick every aspect of his creative personality. Like I'd want to learn more than music from that guy because he just blows me away.
Yeah, the dude's amazing.
Hmm.
Alrighty, my final question for the evening is what is next for Red Brick Road?
Well, as of now, we have studio time booked, and we will definitely have a single out before the end of this year, probably accompanied by another music video. And then, other than that, right now we're trying to get a tour going in August, like through the beginning of September. The beginning of September, we have some shows in Michigan a bit again, so we have to be back for that. Beginning of August, we have like 2 weeks into August, we have one show, so we're like trying to go like out east, make our way back to Michigan for that show, and then head out west. So that's looking like it's gonna happen. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah, I mean, other than like right now, just like trying full steam ahead to like put together that tour. We're working a lot right now. We have the member changes going on, so we have a lot of people interested. It's just which ones are going to be the right one because we're trying to move up. So right now it's just me and Chris that are technically left in the band, and I hope my brother changes his mind and decides to rejoin us. But this career is not the path for everyone, and I respect him no matter what he does in life, and I'll always support him as I know he'll always support me. But if he doesn't decide to come back, and that's the way it's looking right now, so we're not only do we want to get a bass player again and a drummer again, and we're thinking about adding another guitar and just going up to like a good old fashioned 5 piece.
Hmm.
Just because me and Chris, the way we've been doing shows lately, we've been using backing tracks. So we still play guitar, but having the bass and drums there and like some of the guitar in the backing track, because a lot of our songs on the album have 3 guitars, whether you pick up on it or not. They don't necessarily need them live, but there's like a lot of like times there's 3 guitars anyways. We've been able to like be on stage and get like much more like animated and like into it because like and run around the stage and do more stuff because we're not worried about as much. But we want to definitely get back to it being a full live experience because that's what we grew up on with rock and roll is like we want like a whole band up there. So yeah, we're basically trying. Anyways, long story short, we're dealing with member changes right now, and then hopefully by August we're on the road, and then at the times the months off we get, we'll be working on the next album, and hopefully you'll see the next album about the same time this one came out next year though. So
I look forward to it. And when you guys do tour, make sure to hit Connecticut. I will run to that show immediately.
oh well, dude, I tell you what, right now how we're booking it is like off like where like social media followings are. So yeah, we'll definitely be there. 'Cause
Let
I
me
mean,
know.
Yeah, because I mean we've driven and played for like, 4 kids in the bar staff. So if I know you're coming and the bar staff's there, we're all good. Where's
Nice.
Connecticut at anyways? What are you guys by?
We're near New York.
Oh, awesome, because we have some, okay, awesome. Yeah, because we have some links up in New York right now. Some
Hmm.
people that I've been loosely talking to about some stuff. So like we're thinking about doing like somewhere near the city or maybe in the city and then like Rochester area or like Buffalo. And then like if Connecticut's on the way out, yeah, we'll stop in for sure.
Yeah, Connecticut's really close. Like I can drive up, I can literally just drive up to New York if I wanted to. That's how
I think
close
I've
it
been
is.
to Connecticut. Are you by Delaware?
No, we are not.
You're not. Oh, I
We're
got
near Massachusetts as well.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's a relatively small state, but it's a nice one.
No, that's awesome, man. I just I'm not good at geography at all. I know if things are on the East Coast or the West Coast or in the middle, and that's about it for me.
Yeah. You don't worry, neither am I. I use GPS for everything. I totally get where you're coming from.
All right, yeah. That's what's nice about having, yeah, and having digital maps now. Like, it's awesome. For booking like tours, like sometimes you can't do it, but there's like some pretty cool like websites you could go on and it'll rearrange your stops so they're the most like gas efficient. But then like sometimes you just have to override it because you're like, well, this show is going to be on this date and that one's on that date, so we can't reverse them. But
Yeah.
it helps. But yeah, I think I covered all of our plans. I mean, we have a lot of plans, so
Nice. I can't wait
I'm
to see
just
how it
trying to give you
works.
like the rundown of the year. But I mean, yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes. Like I'm really pumped to see what comes next for you guys.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, like, thank you again for having me on here, and I also for anyone who might watch this because I'm gonna definitely share it on my page. Like, I want to thank everyone too that has been showing up to the shows and streaming the hell out of the album and the music videos. We like things started changing for us once we actually released this album. Like, people show up more now to shows and stuff, and like it's just been great. We've been selling the vinyls, we've been selling t-shirts, and like, it just I just really appreciate everyone that's getting into it, and people like you who are willing to interview me and stuff. It's just like feel so blessed and overwhelmed at the same time. It's
Of
not like we
course.
blew up overnight, but when you go from like having 2 kids at your shows to like people there like actually knowing who you are, even when it's just 5 of them instead of 2 of them, it's just like, okay,
It's
well,
still something, yeah.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
actually in today total I've played Work of Heart at least 5 times full through.
Really?
Trying to like
Wow,
analyze
thank
all
you.
the songs. Because
Wow, thanks.
when I listen to music, I like to study the lyrics as much as I can before I actually ask the questions because I want to make sure my knowledge is at least somewhat close to the actual reasoning. And
Right, yep.
also, you can learn a lot from music as well, which is also why I study lyrics. You can
Hmm.
learn so much from music. Like
Yeah,
I said,
oh
I've
yeah.
had this album playing 5 times today, like no stop. Because I was
Wow.
working on I was working on a lot of stuff today, and I'm like, I need music to focus. I just popped on that album and did everything I needed to do today. Just
Nice, nice.
bang
Yeah.
it on repeat 5 times. It's
Hell yeah.
like
Hell
it never
yeah.
gets old to me. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Like I said, like I basically already accomplished my goal, but I'm gonna keep going because like my goal was just for like one person to dig the album, and there's a lot more than that. And I just feel like at this point I can't stop because if I stop at this point, not that I'd want to, but then at this point I'm like just doing an injustice to the people who really dig the album. It's like now I got to go out and
Yeah.
play it for them. Like this isn't my album anymore. It was my album and my band's album. Like when we were in the studio doing the songs before it was released and we were the only ones with it on our phones. It was our album. But then like as soon as we put it out there, it's not ours anymore. Now it belongs to all of you guys. This is your guys' music. This is your guys' freaking family as much as it is ours. The people that get the songs and love the songs and stuff. Like that's who this belongs to at this point. Like we're not in control of it anymore. It's like sending a kid out into the world or something. Like you just have to hope it does good and not end up in prison.
Yeah. And honestly, I see a lot of good things coming for the future for that album and whatever comes next. Because, like I said, when I first heard it, I just fell in love with it. I sent it to my buddies. They love it. I actually have like 5 more friends I need to send it to. because
Yeah, well, thanks
I've
for
been
doing
so
that too. That's
busy.
awesome.
Yeah, I've been so busy with my other stuff. I haven't had time to send it to everyone I wanted to send it to. But tonight I'm gonna send it to two more of my close buddies and see their reactions. Because like
Cool.
they used to be always into mumble rap and hip hop and stuff like that, and normal rap. They never really got into rock or metal. And then I showed
Right.
them what I do. I showed them some of the bands I work with, and now they're like they love metal, so and they love rock. I'm like I accomplished my mission.
Right. No, and that's awesome, dude. And like I've had like so many friends too, like in this industry and friends outside of this industry. And I was kind of one of them. I've done audio engineering and I've been involved in rap music a lot, but had a lot of friends that like were into like the mumble rap or other types of rap. Lil Wayne was super hot when I was in high school. And like but then like as they got older and like I'd be showing them rock music and stuff like I saw a lot of people transition, and I think it's all about what you were saying, just the emotion and the themes rock music talks about is like we just like feel like rock artists too more like make ourselves like I've seen like Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach interviews, Brett Smith from Shine Down, him and Zach Meyer interviews. And I just feel like people in rock bands, we just like more are like, hey, this is for all of us. Where like not all, but I see a lot of rappers with like the persona of like, this is me, I'm badass. And rock musicians, like I love like the feeling in rock music that everyone's in it together. There's like, sure the band's on stage, the crowd's in the crowd, but everyone feels like one while it's going on.
Exactly. That's why I love the genres, man. You're at home. You got like a little
Yep.
family going on here, and everyone's connected through music. It's a complete unity, and I love
Yep.
that so much.
Yeah, and it's just like this is the biggest genre. I've been involved in rock since I was a kid, but I did EDM for a while and DJing for a while. Part of the reason I got out of that was it just didn't have like enough like feeling and emotion in it to me. And then like once I started realizing that I'm getting paid to DJ to a bunch of like drugged up teen something kids that would have listened to frickin' a bugle horn if that's all that was there, it was just like, it just I want to connect with people through music, not just like contribute to people's like drug use, and like
Yeah,
be that guy, because that's like what a lot of DJing does. And I'm not saying everyone that's into that music is into that, but it's just more, people in rock are into drugs too. But I just, come to a show, get drunk if you want to drink. If you don't drink, then don't drink. That's cool. But I just don't see it in rock as much as I see it in like the EDM world, like Electric Forest, and that it's just kind of like messes of drugged up kids that would dance to a freaking car honking its horn if that's all they had. So
exactly. That's why I usually stick with like metal and rock festivals where it's not as common.
hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's everywhere. Can't get away from it. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you'll never find that family feeling in any other genre of music than you will at a freaking rock show.
exactly. Because music for the people more than anything else.
Yeah, like, yeah, exactly. Like I was saying earlier, once you put out an album, that ain't your album anymore. That's everyone else's album. You know.
It's a wonderful thing too.
Yeah.
Rock and metal have such an ability to heal. It is otherworldly, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
And
Here
some people
for
don't
it.
understand that. Like there was just one guy I knew. He battles depression like I do. He never thought he could get help with from anything because therapists never really worked with him right. He had shit therapists. So
Right.
I sent him the album that helped me. That guy recovered so fast.
Right.
And now music helps him on a daily basis, and he is doing so very well for himself. I'm so proud of him.
That's awesome. I'm very glad to hear that. That's
I
awesome.
use music to help people as much as it helped me. In total, I've saved about 22 lives using music alone, and
Wow.
it works. Like when I see a friend depressed as hell, I send them stuff that I send them to stuff that works for me,
Mm,
or I send them stuff from bands I've worked with, who
right.
I think would really impact them, and I've been getting a lot of positive responses from that, and I want to keep that going.
Yeah. No, that's awesome that I'm when I start getting extra money off this career, because right now the only reason that I haven't been able to put this in place is I'm scraping by eating, what I can. Fortunately, my dad's pretty great to me and takes pretty good care of me when I come home and stuff. But if I didn't have those things, like I don't got, a dime really in my pocket right now, but I want to start what's called, I actually have a tattoo already. It says there is always hope. And then like backwards, it says hope is always there. But I want to start what's called the There Is Always Hope Foundation. And basically what we're going to do is use music as therapy. We're going to provide educational resources for people to learn about mental health and how they can get help. And yeah, basically like what I want to do is like teach kids like who may have some behavioral issues, whether it be like bipolar or ADHD, anything like that, like pay and provide for them to get music lessons and learn more about music and stuff, and use like music as a therapy source. And then also for like people with drug issues, like, you know, to be able to help fund their rehab, and like kind of the same thing, like, you know, like afterward, like it just kind of be like this, like, you know, be mostly an educational like foundation where we provide people with resources and stuff. Like we don't really do that much of the work ourselves because that takes too much licensing and hiring and insurance and stuff like that. But places that are already, you know, someone might not go to because they don't have insurance, they can't cover it. Well, here you go, we'll help you out, and then we'll set you up with like a sponsor type thing afterwards. And you know, you know, especially the kids I want to work with, like nip the problem in the ass early. Like middle schoolers who are like outcasts and stuff, kind of like I was, like, hey man, yeah, you got these problems, but here's a guitar. Oh, I can't afford a guitar. Like, no, that's like what we're doing now. You know, we're gonna provide instruments, you know, and things like that, you know. So
Yeah,
it's one of my biggest hopes with being in this industry. I'd honestly, I'd take being able to set that up and get that running properly, like over like being in the biggest band on the planet. If I can just get this band to a big enough point where we can have this nonprofit organization to help other people, like I'd be happy right there. If I can provide for myself plus that and plus the band, I'm good. I'm like, that's all I need. I don't need to be Metallica. I don't need to be the next Cobain or something. Just, you know, let me do good with my success. That's all I want, you know.
that hits me where I live. That is beautiful, dude.
Thank you.
Jesus. Sorry, I got a little teared up for a second there.
Hey man, thanks. Yeah.
Hey, I was an outcast too, and music got me out of a lot of shit, so I feel that.
Right. Yeah. So
I want to help. I want to help make. I want to help you make this happen now so badly. I do. I really want
yeah,
to see that happen.
I know. I feel like it'd be a great thing too. And like warp, if you think about things like Warp Tour and stuff, we could have a tent there and
They
stuff
did.
like that.
Yeah,
And
they did a
like,
lot of that too. They did like a
yeah.
bunch of foundations.
Well, like To Write Love on Our Arms, which is they do
Yeah,
a little
I
bit
did a
different,
post on
but
that actually.
yeah, they're one of my huge influences for like what made me think this up. Like I'm not copying them, they're different. And it's okay if you're helping people, copy all you want. It's not like ripping off a song. If you're gonna start an identical foundation that reaches more people, go ahead. But yeah, To Write Love on Our Arms was a very big one for me. They're an excellent foundation. And yeah.
They're amazing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I did a post on that actually on one of the Warped Tour episodes. I mentioned them and a few others.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy, great people too. Oh, that's beautiful, dude. That just made my evening, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Glad
Dude.
I could do that for you.
Honestly, thank you. Like I being able to do stuff like this has always been a pipe dream for me. Never thought it'd be a reality, but look where I am now.
Yeah.
I literally started this up to get over a very abusive person in my life who actually ditched me, thank goodness. But it's like I was trying to get over that because it was a very stressful time in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when music saved me. And then I started this up right after that. I messaged one of my favorite groups I listened to in college saying, "Can I speak with you guys?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, sure." And I just started this up.
Right. Yeah.
I've
And
been doing it
that's
for years.
awesome because like the people like you are like the only reason that like the bands, the smaller bands and stuff make it. Like you guys all got to realize like how important you are too, because like it gets the word out there. And not even just, I'm not saying even just people like with podcasts or whatever you want to call this, YouTube cast, I don't know what you call it. Not just those people, but the people that like you that find the album, get really interested in it, and out of their own liberty send it to their friends and stuff, and are like, hey, this is good. Like those are like, you know, that's the only reason that like we can do this. Like I said, we made the album for you guys, not for ourselves, you know, at least in my
Yeah.
eyes.
My goal is to just spread music that I think has meaning. That's the big reason why I do this.
Mm-hmm.
and so far I have never been disappointed once. I
Yeah,
enjoy every band. I enjoy everyone I talk to.
that's great. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, you and Matt both are just both such awesome guys to like know because you're both just like in it for the right reasons, you know. I've
Yeah.
had other people hit me up and they're like, "Hey, you want to do an interview?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." When? They're like, "Well, it's gonna be $150." I'm like, "Why am I paying you?" Like, no,
Oh
no,
hell
don't.
no.
You
I could
know?
I could never charge for this. That doesn't feel right to me
Right.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
I do this for the love of music and the passion. Only reason why I do this. I
Yeah.
I never want to make money off of this. That's not why I do this at all.
Right.
Like I just want to give back to music as much as it has given to me.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, same thing with me. Like I was saying earlier, like I have some goals that I need money for, but you know, obviously with a band, there's overhead expenses of studio time and touring. But like, I don't care to have any money beyond that, you know. Like, obviously, I have to have a want for some money or I can't keep doing this. But,
Yeah,
you know, beyond what it takes, I'll still be a broke musician on the road as long as people are still showing up and I make enough money to get to the next town, you know.
exactly.
Like that's it. That's all I care about. I don't need a Ferrari. I don't need a Lamborghini. I'd like to have a Viper one day. Maybe it'll happen, but if I don't get it, I'll be fine without it, you know?
Yeah. Like my biggest goal with this is just to spread the love of music and their stories and help them
Hmm.
get more listeners and help them find people who can connect with their music. Like I started this up as a passion project and I'm gonna keep going with that.
Right.
Because music saved
Absolutely.
my life. And if I can help it save others, that's all I'm in it for.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's just music is the culture of it is great. Like sitting down with people like you and talking and like really getting deep into this is like great, you know?
Yeah,
It's really cool. It's like it shows you like you're in Connecticut and I'm in Michigan and like we can talk like we've known each other for years just because we relate on so many levels about this one particular topic, music, you know.
exactly. Like I work with bands from all over the world too, like Brazil, Norway, Netherlands. Like I'm
Oh
working with
yeah.
from all over. So it's like, and I still have that genuine bond because of the music they create
Right.
and like the topics it hits. There's some groups, let's see, really good ones. Like, well, everyone's really good if I've spoken to, but it's like some music stands out a lot more because of the emotion you feel with the lyrics they give.
Right. Yeah,
Like when I was
absolutely.
working with a group from Brazil, they're called it's spelled AXTY, but it's pronounced anxiety. Their stuff really hit hard from home with me because a lot of it is meaningful as hell, and it strikes a lot of well bonds, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
And
No,
it's
for sure.
insane. I love how music has that ability just to bring people together. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's my favorite part too, for sure.
It's
For
such a
sure.
lovely thing.
Yeah. There's just nothing like that feeling of like, you know, even with like other like local and regional bands that we play with, like there's just like, you know, once in a while you get the dicks in the room, but for the most part, all the other bands, we all are there to support each other. We all have looked into each other's music. We all want to talk music with each other, you know, and yeah, it's really like you said, like a family sense thing, and you know, it's great.
That's why I love music festivals. Like you could not know a single person there, yet everyone will be hugging like it's the promised day.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Everyone just has a genuine bond with the music they listen to and helps them all get out their anger, their depression, their stress. And it
Yeah,
makes you
all of it.
feel like you're at peace.
All of it. It's medicine for the people, man. Like
Exactly.
it's amazing, and like the nice part too is like I was on that side of things for many years, and I mean I've been doing gigs since I was pretty young, but with this band's when we got real hardcore into it. And like one of the things I loved about it was like when we started going out of state and stuff, like I didn't know what it was going to be like playing with other bands who like only heard of us because they looked us up because they knew they were playing with us and stuff. But the thing I've learned to love so friggin' much about doing this is that camaraderie is there backstage too. Some guy from who's a guitar player in this band or something. I get off stage and I walk off stage and he's backstage and you know giving me a hug like that song was great. You killed it tonight. And like and it's just like we're all there for the same reason and we're all just one big freaking family.
That's so beautiful, dude.
Hmm.
The love of music can bring so much joy to the world.
Yep.
It's such a healing tool. It's amazing. And that's what I love most. It helps not only the listeners, but the creators too. Like it's
Oh
a
yeah.
venting mechanism all the way around, and it's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I like I tell people all the time, and like even like Chris, my bandmate, especially I tell him like the only time I feel calm anymore and feel fully at home is when I'm on stage. It's like part of the reason like we play as much as possible, because it's just like it's the only time when I feel like completely calm and like everything in my life's going right, because I don't think about anything except the next chord or the next word for the song, and like how I can help portray my message to the people in the crowd, and like how they're feeling about it. And like, yeah, when I go up on stage, it's just like it doesn't last long enough, which is fine, but I think even if I played for 4 hours, it wouldn't be long enough. So, but and I just like I love that feeling. It's the only time I just walk around every day with this big ball of like energy inside me, like ready to explode. And then I just go up there and I just leave it all up there, and then I sleep great that night, and yeah, it's
Definitely.
very therapeutic, especially to perform.
That's how I feel at music festivals. Whenever I'm there, I feel a complete peace, and I'm just as happy as I can be.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
never lasts long enough. That is something that is so true.
Right. Right. Yep.
Oh goodness.
I
Like
know, and it's funny. It's funny because you can be like at home, like eating like good food, some pizza and some chicken and stuff, but like sleeping in your own bed. But when it comes down to it, what would you rather do? Be at like some grimy rock festival eating hot dogs 4 days in a row, sleeping in a tent? Hell yeah, give it to me,
definitely.
It just shows like,
It shows what has the best, like what gives the best energy in a way to
yeah.
us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I miss. That's why I miss festivals. I miss the festival life so much.
Yeah, me too.
Like
Because
I'm hoping
just
this lifts soon. This
oh
bloody
yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah, it will. It should.
Yeah, I got my second shot recently, and I'm just like waiting for the 2 week period. And I'm like, yay, fully vaxxed. But it's
Good,
like
good.
I want this fest. I want festivals to become a thing again because I
Yeah.
miss that life. Every
But
time I look forward to. That was it.
right. Yeah, being someone like me too, like I'm an avid music lover, like I love like people start to think sometimes when you're in a band you just want to play now. And that's like not true. Like I still want to go to festivals. I want to get on festival shows just so I can go see the festival for free, Like
Yeah.
it's like you never lose that part of you where 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 you were a fan, and I'm still a fan of many, many bands, just some people sometimes like think that like oh, you're going to that festival, are you guys playing? It's like like why would we be playing that festival? That's a huge festival. But like I get where they're coming from. But I just that little kid is like always going to be alive in me, that was just obsessed with rock music, and like
Yeah.
I gotta please him too.
I mean, when Warped Tour comes back, ask Kevin because you know how open he was about letting new bands play. He was very
I,
open with it.
yeah, and I have been saying this and thinking very optimistically, because Kevin is a great guy with booking bands that aren't freaking with label money behind them and stuff. And like I just like I've been telling the guys in the band and stuff, I'm like Warped Tour is like coming back at like a good time, like for us, like to where we still have a little time to keep building momentum behind things. But like before, when we started out and we didn't even have an album to show for ourselves, it's like, well, you're not going to get on that tour. But like now that it's probably coming back in like 2022, it's like that's like one of my huge goals, is just to like, because like we've been talking a lot about the community and stuff. Warp Tour is one of those communities like where like with the the foundation I want to start and stuff too. There's a lot of people there who I could learn from. Music Cares is usually there. To Write Love on Her Arms is usually there.
Mm-hmm.
People I can talk to and like learn things from. So like then it's like very full circle. It's not like just the music, it's the whole culture, and like, be able to like kind of like learn things from everyone. And there's big bands and small bands, and everyone travels together for like freaking 60 days. It's amazing. There hasn't been a tour like it.
Saying let's not forget the funny moments with Fletcher from
What?
Pennywise. Let's not
Oh
forget the
yeah.
funny moments with Fletcher. That guy was
Mm-hmm.
hilarious. Warped Tour legend.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, Kevin Lyman launched careers, so it's definitely worth giving it a try.
Oh, dude, he launched so many bands. There's so many friggin' bands I only know about that like because I saw them playing to 5 kids at Warp Tour, and I was one of those 5. And then the next year they're playing to 20 kids, and then like 3 years later they're like main stage playing to like 500 or 1,000 or 10,000. I don't know, however many show up, So
It was insane.
yeah.
Like that man launched careers. Like it was
Hmm.
insane. Hell, even he even launched Eminem and Bloody Katy Perry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was like, I love how he gives everyone a chance, and I love that.
Yeah.
Great
No,
dude.
he really does. And I mean, I know Eminem had the Dre stuff going on, but like you were saying, without doing the Warp Tours, it's like, would he be in the same spot? Another one's MGK. He basically credits his whole career to getting those Warp Tour tours.
Hmm. Honestly, Kevin is a great dude. I have so much respect for that man.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because he just like always did it for the bands and stuff. Like,
Exactly. It was for the bands and for the people. That's how
yeah.
he did it. That's how he did Warped Tour.
Yep.
He found a great way to make an awesome party and make a living at it, which he did perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for it to come back. I hope when it comes back too, they got the skate ramp because like I skateboard too. So like,
Dude, I would love to see the skate ramp back. I've always
yeah.
wanted to see it in person. I never got the chance to.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be awesome when they had it. I forget what year they quit having it or whatever, but yeah, it was awesome when they had it.
That's
I
great.
At that time I was skateboarding so much. I usually wasn't one of the kids that brought my skateboard, but I still enjoyed like listening to a band play, not even watching them and watching people skateboard and stuff. It was just one of a kind thing.
I can imagine how like it's just insane how I'm trying to put into words here. I'm gonna put it this way: the memories from those must have been amazing.
Yeah. Well, what year did you say you got into it?
I started at 2016 because my twin mentioned it. I'm like, "What's this?" I looked it up. I'm like, "Okay, we'll check it out." My biggest regret was not loading sooner. That will always be my biggest regret. Because if I
Yeah.
knew about if I knew about this back in 2010 or 14 or 13, I would have been going every year.
Yeah, I mean, I found out about it, and I know I didn't go earlier than 2007 because that's one of the years I still bought the CD, but back in 2004 was my first Warp Tour compilation CD. And I was really young in 2004. I was like 8 years old, something like 9 years old, something like that. And
Yeah,
I was too young to go, but like my dad took me to a lot of concerts growing up and stuff, which was like really cool. I saw a lot of great bands. I saw Boston Live, and I saw
that's
Steve
great.
Miller, Counting Crows, Kiss, tons of great bands. But yeah, I'd say by like before we hit like the tens, like by 2009, I was probably going to Warp Tour. So
That's great. I was born in '97, so I was like 4 years old around. Not 4 years old. I was like barely even six around that time.
right, yeah, so you're 2 years younger than me because my brother was born in '97 too. So
Huh. Yeah. I just turned 23 in December, so woohoo!
right, yeah.
December 26th. What a terrible day for a birthday. It's like the day right
Yeah.
after everyone's with their families. You got like no one to hang out with.
Yeah.
That's where these come in.
I had a friend, his birthday was on New Year's, and it sucked for him as a kid because it was always family stuff. But as a teenager, he was always at a party, whether it was his birthday party or not.
That's
Because
great.
everyone always gets gets together for New Year's.
Oh, that's amazing. This has been a wonderful evening. This has been great. Thank
Yeah,
you again for
absolutely.
being with us. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. This was wonderful.
Hey, no problem. No problem.
I've
Thank you for
really,
having me. I can't express that enough, dude.
dude, this
It's
has
no
been an
problem for
honor.
me
This
to
has
be
been an
here.
honor on my end too. Like I have really enjoyed this.
Good, cool. Yeah, me too.
And I cannot wait for that vinyl. When that vinyl comes in, that poster, I'm gonna have it framed and just hung up.
Awesome. I love to hear that. That's
Speaking
awesome.
of framed art, there is one piece of art I have up here, which it's you know how people write definitions on boards and they call it art.
Hmm.
There's one I have, but this one I actually do consider art because it says music, one vocal, instrumental, or mechanical sounds having rhythm or melody, and number two, a piece of art that goes right to your heart. And that's why I bought that picture right there, just that second meaning.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I
very
love it. I
cool.
have it right next to. I have it right in my office around with all my other music stuff.
Right. That's cool. That's really cool.
It is, honestly, and it's true. Like music can really bring out the best in people if you
Oh
listen to
yeah,
the
it
right
does.
stuff.
It does, and like you were like the festival thing. Like you get punks together with people who are chiropractors and
Mhm.
dentists and returned home from military tours and spent time in Iraq, and everyone gets together and everyone gets along, and you got bikers and you got jocks and you got nerds, and it's just awesome because when everyone's there, like I think you said this earlier, it's like everyone just feels why they're there, and it's just amazing,
It's a unity. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Lovely things. I cannot wait for all that to just come flooding back again.
Oh yeah.
And when it does, I'm gonna be the first one to run there because, like, my normal life, those are the only things I look forward to, were conventions and music festivals because
Right.
those are the only places I could be myself usually, or my family. I can't act like myself. I can never act like myself around my family. It's like I have to keep that shit hidden. But those
Right.
festivals and conventions were the two places I can always do that freely without
Mm-hmm.
having to worry about a thing in the world.
Right.
That was my home, and I truly miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too, more than anything. Because there's no such thing as like freaks at like music festivals. It's
Exactly, because
awesome.
everyone there is like the same. We're
Yeah.
all into the same stuff. We're all having a good time. It's just a complete unity, a complete
Right.
family, and everyone's just having a blast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's no such thing
Absolutely.
as the odd one out at a music festival. That does not
Hmm.
exist. Because once you're there and you're into it and you get really into it, you're gonna make a ton of friends
Right.
that will stick
Yeah.
with you for years.
Oh, is that there's this great documentary on Amazon, I think it's called Long Live Rock, but that's what it's about, is it's more about the fans and the bands. They have some bands like in it and stuff, but yeah, it's like it's about like how people come together, and kind of like that's kind of where I just realized I was getting some of my examples from when I was talking about all these different people that get together for the same cause. But it's called Long Live Rock. You ever hear of Rock on the Range?
I it sounds vaguely familiar.
It's called Sonic Temple now. They changed the name because I think they got new owners or something, but it takes place in Ohio. Unfortunately, I've only been to it once, maybe twice. I think just once though. Actually, just once. Yes, just once. And the documentary takes place there, and it's just all about the camping and the camaraderie between people, and all these like I like to use like the word like cult following, whatever, like all these like little family like cults that like form of like people that like they only know each other from that festival and only see each other one time a year, but that's where it is. And then, you get like these big groups together of some people are married, some people are single, some old, some young, and they all know each other and they all get together for the same purpose, and
It's
take care of each other
wonderful.
all weekend.
It's so wonderful how that all happens. It's like that's what me with conventions. When I do cosplay, I know a few people who I always see there, and I'm like, hey, and we like we recognize each other immediately. We hang out for the entire time we're there. And no matter what
Right.
outfit we're wearing, we know it's us, and we're like, hey, you need help with this? You need help with that? Like we're always taking care of each other.
Right.
We only
Absolutely.
see each
Yeah.
other like twice a year.
I mean, I've never been to any conventions like that. I find them very cool. Honestly, I don't know why I haven't, because like I was brought up with comic books and with like graphic novels and stuff. It would make
Yeah,
sense for me to go. I haven't yet, but like I see things online about them. I hear from other people about them. So when those come back, I'm probably gonna have to start doing some of that too, because
same.
it just
I have to go back too because I missed those. I have a bunch of props I haven't even been able to use because of the pandemic.
right, right,
So
yep,
annoying. Because like I also felt free doing that. I could just be myself and unwind and not have to worry about a thing in the world. And
right.
those places give people like us so much to look forward to with life. Because
See, so that's what. Oh, go ahead,
with the
finish.
way the world's going with politics and everything else, there's not really much to look forward to
Yeah.
except for the
Oh yeah.
small things like that.
Right, right. Yeah, that's where you get to get your performer side of things out too, dress like your favorite character and stuff. Like,
Exactly.
it's cool. Yeah.
It's a blast. I miss doing that stuff so much. Sadly, my roster's changed because a lot of the friends I lost during the depression were those who I went with, but I already got a new group set up for that, and we're super excited to get started.
Yeah, it's cool. And like, like you'll always meet new friends through that. So
Exactly.
just roll with the changes.
Yeah, just go with the flow
Yeah.
and always get back up no matter how hard things get.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This has been nice.
Yeah,
I think we should
very cool,
start
man.
wrapping. We gotta start wrapping things up, though. I think.
Oh yeah,
It's,
probably.
yeah, it's getting like hella late. It's almost like 10 o'clock on my
Is
end.
it? Damn. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you're
like
you're EST, right?
yep, EST.
Okay, yeah, same. So it's almost 10 here too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, everyone. This has been another Nerds Order Music interview. Today, our guest was Jake from Red Brick Road. I hope you have an awesome night, man, and thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yep, thank you too. And www.redbrickroadrocks.com to find out anything more. And one more special thanks to Nerds Order Music host Zach for having me. I'd like to say that one more time.
Thank
And
you very much.
we can
Also, check out
become.
their vinyl. It is
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, I love it. I love the artwork for that too, man. Work of art. Great name, great album. You guys gotta check it out. Link will be in the description to their merch site. All of you guys have an awesome evening. Take care.